All right. It appears that we are streaming. Let me refresh the stream right quick. Oh man, please stand by. Come on now. Well, if you can see me, I'm just getting the stream restarted really quick so I can see the comments. Hold on just a second. It's taking me. I don't know why it's not updating.
Scoot a little bit.
There we go. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. All right.
Awesome.
We're here live for the live
Show.
Bob and Josh in the morning.
Nice.
A fan of the show community. What's wrong with you? Go watch that show. It's amazing.
Seriously. All right, so we're back for another live show on February 11th, 2014, and that's me coming in and the delay.
Just watch ourselves.
We do have a few things to mention for you. First of all, we had a great time at my Rebel training camp.
It was quite an experience. It was a lot of fun. I will say it was definitely a lot of fun. So.
Absolutely. This is Josh's first time commanding at an Airsoft engagement, so it's interesting for both teams. But before we get into that, we want to go over some currently available promos. First of all, we have our 14% off coupon. It's called Save14. That's kind of explanatory. You can type that in and get.
How much percentage off is that?
14%.
Oh, actually, I had somebody ask me that the other day. I was like, it's part of the.
Can't help those people. Can't help those people. This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
No, Colin C. All right, so we also have flat rate shipping returning, I believe, on this Thursday and Friday only. So if you are looking for, BBs, gear, guns, anything that you want that can save on shipping, Thursday and Friday will be the time to purchase that stuff. Now, it's going to be $8.95 for the continental United States, for basically most of the United States. For Alaska, Hawaii, and Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, and Canada is going to be $11.95 just to accommodate for that extra shipping as well as border fees. So, pretty darn good deal if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I honestly was seeing a lot of is people saying, hey, what's the shipping discount, stuff like that. Well, here you go. Make sure you guys get your orders in, obviously, before the weekend ends to take advantage of this. Some of the other cool stuff that we have going on is we have a couple of product giveaways. If you do a review of a product on Google, or you just do a product review on our website, so say you guys buy a full BDU kit, maybe a gun, make sure you leave a review. You could potentially win a Lance Tactical Nice Armament PDW, which is pretty freaking sweet. Not to mention, we also need those reviews to make sure that we're giving really good, accurate feedback to our customers to make sure that, everyone knows what they're buying. So make sure you guys are leaving feedback on the products you get because it really helps out the community quite a bit. I think that's... Oh, we have one more. You want to cover the last one?
Burst Wizard promo. There's something going on our website right now which you haven't been aware of. You should go check out our website at Mediamente. We're actually offering our Burst Wizard with over 350 guns. So if you want a burst feature as well as added reliability, you can add, I believe it's just $20. I believe, yeah.
I mean, you could purchase it separately for $40.
Or you can buy it with the gun for around $20. So make sure to check that out. If you're looking at any new Airsoft guns, for over 350 guns on our website, you have that option to save $20, add burst functionality and reliability to your Airsoft gun. Pretty sweet deal, in my opinion, especially with all the different bursts you can get. I know it's fun to play around with that. So
yeah, there's definitely a lot of really cool modes, as well as helping save your battery life, a ton of other cool things for the Burst Wizard feature. So if you aren't familiar with that, we did a cool video on it. So go watch the video, get a little more informed, because it's a pretty cool service that we're offering for you guys. So now let's talk about this auspicious weekend that we had, because it was a lot of fun. And I gotta say, I got my butt kicked a little bit, a couple of the rounds, maybe one or two, but other than that, it was honestly a pretty close game for most of the day. I mean,
we definitely had some close ones. Especially the thing that was cool for me is that all of these games, like Tim versus Bob games especially, but also this Rebel Training Camp, this one specifically, a lot of it comes down to individual action on the player. I mean, we can, I can plan out my forces movements as best as I can, which what happened in the first game. But also, it comes down to the individual actions of players on the battlefield that affect the outcome. For example, Greg Wong was there and he was rocking the rocket launcher, got 2 hits on target, may have broken the rocket launcher, so that kind of cut down our anti-armor capability. But there was another game in which Daniel, the head of marketing here, had the detonator with which to detonate buildings. In the last, I think it was like 10-15 minutes, detonated one.
No, it was literally like 30 seconds call game.
That was the last building.
And then he was like, "Oh, we better get over there." Terminator moded it, and somehow I got in, pressed the button, and blew it up right before the rounds were at the end.
It wasn't even just that though. Like he blew up the first building in the last like 5 minutes, and then the last building he had to get to detonate. He pulled out the detonator, and one of the pins, the audio pins, came off. So he just had a pin and just open wire. And he looked at the ref. He's like, "What do I do?" And the ref's like, "Real world problems, man. Make it count." And Daniel put the pin in, and then just shoved the wires in, hit the detonator, and blew up. 30 seconds later.
Yep.
So that mission was a draw. Basically, I got 2 buildings and you got 2 buildings, but what an epic way to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, there was another awesome thing that happened during that event. Team Disposable Heroes, who were tasked to be on my force, which were rocking and rolling.
I gave them to you.
Well, I'm just saying, all you guys that came out from Team DH had a great time playing with you. It was awesome to see you guys come out. And there was a couple of parts, I think I have a couple parts on camera, where the buggy's just like rolling through, and I'm like, "Hey, come on, come on!" We're like sneaking through windows, and I was like, "Get him, get him!" He runs over, grabs a C4 right on the side of the thing. The car drives away. We duck back here. We're like, "Yes, got it!" It was so sick.
It was really interesting because I remember sending out my vehicles. I wanted to keep them all together, just so they had the maximum amount of a chance of surviving. And then, like within 2 minutes of the game start, one of them's come back like, "We're destroyed." I was like, "What happened?" They pointed it back, C4. I was like, "God!" But
it was pretty awesome.
I think the coolest part for me is looking at the footage afterward. I remember the big buggy with the minigun goes around a corner and then proceeds back to my lines kind of fast. And then all of a sudden, nowhere, 2 disposable heroes just come running down the center of the map, past some of my forces.
Just blew past everybody, really.
The thing is, I remember seeing them run past. I was like, "Look at these crazy guys." And they ran all the way down the map and caught up with a speeding vehicle and put C4 on it and detonated it. So
it reminded me of that scene in Saving Private Ryan when they do the grease sock and they put it on the
composition B.
I just felt like that was the scene for me. So
pretty much it.
Yeah, it really was. It was a ton of fun. We'll recap kind of. Let's go over the games a little bit. We have a little bit of time, so let's go over the first game. We have your perspective, then mine.
Well, let me actually explain how it goes, because I designed this training camp so it'll go from simple missions to slightly more complex to very complex and very complex. So the first mission, we essentially had a game where there were no capture rules, which meant Josh and I or Daniel did not have to worry about being captured. And then we were also supposed to grab specific crates from either side. So your side had I believe like 2 crates on it. My side had 2 crates, and there was a 5th crate somewhere on the battlefield, as well as a nuke in the center of the battlefield. Now the nuke was worth 3 points. Each crate was worth 1.
Right. That is correct.
Now I believe I was starting nearest the entrance to the battlefield. You were starting the opposite side near the airport.
Right.
My plan from the beginning was based off of my experiences at the last game at Tim vs. Bob 5. My forces kind of got not to say bunkered down, but we got pushed back right in the beginning. So I sent my forces up in 3 different groups, and they basically went up each of the main streets as far as they could until they encountered fire. And essentially, your forces didn't have much time to get out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, as the game whistle blew, I had a lot of guys that accidentally ran into the prison, not knowing the field layout, realizing that, hey, you actually can't get out of this building.
Yeah.
And so it kind of turned into, we left spawn, and we didn't really push out that far, which led to a couple of lanes getting locked down. We had a bit of a tough time getting out of our respawn area. That's kind of honestly pretty much the summary of what happened the first game. You guys pretty much locked us down in that area. We couldn't really get out to try to get those crates and be more effective on the field. And it ended up being you guys grabbed the nuke, ran back with it, what I think in like
I actually looked at the time code. We got the nuke within a minute and a half.
Yeah, so they were just on the field like crazy fast.
And I didn't tell anyone where the nuke was. I said it's in this general area. The refs were tricky with where they put it, so just look around.
I heard they hit it inside of the bus that was there.
They put it inside the bus, and that was funny because a player was actually going in there to get a cover position. It was like, eek! Oh, that's a nuke. So that's how we got it so fast. So
yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of fun to. I heard that they didn't even find a couple of the crates that first game. They were so well hidden.
The first game, my team got the nuclear weapon and 2 crates, and I believe you got 2 crates, and the 5th crate was just left out there.
Yeah, it just stayed there pretty much the whole game.
So yeah, the first game would have been 5-2, and the majority of that was from capturing the nuclear weapon.
Yeah. The first game for us was a bit of a look down the lane, fire as much as you can. Hopefully you don't get hit and try to press up a little bit. But I was trying to lead a couple charges here and there to move guys up, but you guys had it just so well locked.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where basically I had all of the important corners about 5 to 10 minutes into the game, so you guys had a really tough spot getting out of there, which I can empathize with because I was in that position as well at TVB5 where I was leading human wave charges. Yeah. And I got to say, it was really fun to be I was leading human wave charges as well at this Rebel training camp, but it's fun to see it happen to my forces. I was like, oh, hey, I remember those. That's what it looks like from this
Because
end.
you just look down the lane and you just see a massive amount of guys moving, and there's just
yeah.
flying everywhere.
It's really fun to do those, though.
Yeah, no, it is fun. I mean, there was a couple of times where it's like, hey, did you see this guy's? Let's go, let's move with them.
Yeah.
And it just didn't necessarily always work out the best.
There was one moment that I was really happy during the first game I hadn't included the capture rules because it gave me the presence of thought to actually like just get up as far as I could just to make some damage happen.
Yeah.
And at one point I just got fed up with the situation and ran screaming all the way down the right road, just screaming and screaming, firing my L4, and then at the last second I was like, if I go around this corner, I'm gonna get shot by a lot of dudes. So I just tucked in the building right before I got in there, right before I ran around the corner, and went in the building with my pistol, shot about 3 or 4 dudes, shot a guy outside the door, and went right around the outside the door and pointed my barrel into the face of Daniel, our boss. And I was like, ooh, I would have captured you. And he even saw me, and we had a split second of quiet, and we both were like, ooh, it's a Doppler. Surrender, he's dead. So
that's very funny.
That was really fun for me. But yeah, the second game, I think, is where probably it was the most organized, or felt the most organized on the battlefield, and was also, I think, the closest we came to having a, well, I guess just a really, really close, just really time-stopper battle.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, the first round obviously didn't go as well as we had planned, but the second game, when we switched the sides, your team was at a little bit of an advantage, I think, maybe.
We still the same.
Quickness-wise.
We still
You
the
guys-
same respawn though.
Yeah, but you guys were getting out of the gate a little quicker. You guys were moving much more faster than I guess my guys were at the time, and that's honestly not a big deal. But where are you looking? Oh yeah, definitely. But the second round, when we had started pushing up towards the middle of the street, I was actually just watching the footage a little bit ago. There were some pretty intense little CQB firefight moments that I was just having a ton of fun playing. And I will say that the second game, I think went a little more toward your guys' favor in that one too. If I recall correctly, I think we didn't get as many of the crates out of that one.
The second game actually didn't have anything to do with the crates. That was the one where we detonated the building. So all it was.
Oh, you're right.
The second game was capture rules are now in effect.
Yeah.
And Greg almost got captured. And also, each side had to detonate 2 buildings on the opposing team's side with the detonators. And there was only 1 detonator per side. So I gave mine to Greg Wong, and you gave yours to Daniel.
Right. And I was like, Daniel, you got to run fast because we need to get these buildings detonated.
Yeah.
And now I recall, yeah, you're right. What I had originally intended to do was send a bunch of guys to hold off just one area long enough so I could have Daniel kind of infiltrate and flank into this area that he had to get into. And then I was just like, okay, nobody go down this way anymore. I'm pulling everybody back to lock down this respawn area, and kind of kept moving into these other little buildings. And once I did that, it was really kind of funny because all of your guys shifted up far on the right-hand side, like towards the top of the field, and there was just nobody there for them to shoot at. Like, I literally told like 10 guys, I was like, hey, just spawn here and shoot at them and just hold this area down. We're all going this way. And I remember I was like, let's go. And I looked back and there was like 25 guys like, and we just went down into these little shop areas. And honestly, we were rocking and rolling right there. For me personally, for this game, I'd never commanded before, and I wanted to really try to make sure that like everybody who was around me was having a really fun time. So there was a lot of like, hey, you, come with me. We're gonna go do a little special mission. And there was a couple times where we had to fill up the vehicles, which we'll get to later with the transports, where I was like, at respawn, I was like, you with a shotgun.
Well, that's in the 3rd and 4th game.
Yeah, 3rd and 4th game. But it was just a lot of fun to like, because the people really responded very well. They were just like, hey, yeah, let's go have fun and run around these little areas and just kind of work together as a team more so, and employ the tactics that we learned during the training intermissions, which you definitely got to talk about that.
The training was stunning. I mean, the fellow that Craig from GamePod got to be there was absolutely great. I mean, we had Sergeant Brad, and we also had Staff Sergeant Eric. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail from what he told us, but essentially, he is on current assignment with Special Forces, and some of the training that he put out there was honestly when I missed part of the component because I was trying to make sure the whole event was going to be successful. So I was moving around, making sure some of the kids who looked a little bit sad or tired, making sure they were okay. I was like, "Are you okay, buddy?" "Yeah, I'm good." But one of the things that you showed me after the fact was how to breach a window, and that honestly stunned me. That was so brilliant, and I wish I had been there for more of the training, but I was just so...
Oh, when we got back to the hotel?
Yeah. So that was brilliant.
There was kind of a cool, interesting concept. Well, I can't obviously show you guys here on the live show. We don't have enough room, but maybe we'll do a little video about it, kind of show some of the tricks and tips that we learned. But the idea of how these guys use teamwork in a real-world setting with their real guns and real bad guys is honestly... it's a bit jaw dropping and eye opening to see what these guys have to do on a daily basis for their job. And to see them come out and spend time with us, to even have them come out and spend time with us, was honor enough for me, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, both of Brad and Eric were really, really humbled to honestly be out there. Like we were talking to him at dinner the night before, and he was like, "I would much rather come out here, spend time with these guys that are going to listen to me and really take in the information than, you know, try to run a course. Maybe someone's got a chip on their shoulder and stuff like that." And I was really just like, man.
You were cool.
This is awesome. So I was really, honestly, and he may not be watching this. I'm sure he's a busy guy. But I just, you know, big shout out and thanks to both of the guys that came out. Brad too. I mean,
Brad's awesome.
Some of the SWAT training and stuff that he was showing us, I was just like, man, this is really, really fun, awesome stuff to learn. And I think a lot of the younger players, even me, I learned a lot just standing there watching.
I know that was probably my greatest regret, is that I couldn't stay there and watch more, because I mean, I was just really worried the event wasn't going to be a success because I hadn't paid too much attention to detail. I want to make sure everything was where I thought it was going to be, and then, gosh, just some of the small snippets, I was like, man, this guy is the real effing deal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, but I actually do want to go back to that second mission, especially since Greg Wong is here, Spartan 1117 GW. I did give him the detonator, and he was actually able to take out the gas station really quickly within, I believe, the first 5 minutes of the game. And then the whole time we were trying to get, I'm trying to remember the next building we had to blow up. I think it was further down on your right, on our right flank.
Up towards the top, yeah.
I do want to mention one thing, Greg, if you're listening, because Tim is here, and I was just telling him this. I had one radio the entire mission. I could basically switch back and forth between game control or Greg Wong. And because Greg Wong had the detonator, there was one point where I was like, "Greg Wong, where are you?" He's like, "I'm on the front lines." And I was like, "Where? Where?" "On the front lines." And then finally, about probably the third time, you're like, "Right flag, all the way against the wall." I was like, "Front lines?" Yeah. It was really comical, because I was like sitting there, I was like, "Where?" But yeah, no, we were able to detonate the buildings really quickly, and it's interesting that you were sending guys to block off our area of advance, because right after I confirmed that we detonated both the gas station and the bank, I tried to pull as many of our forces off of you guys and shift all the way to the left to cover the two buildings you had to detonate.
Right, and what I had done is, right before that I knew that was happening, I shifted everybody before that. So I was like, everybody needs to pull back and come this way, because once he gets these two objectives, they have no reason to be over there. And at that time, it would just kind of worked out well, because we basically did kind of what happened in the first round, locked down that one side of the respawn, and then just funneling guys across the street. So it was
pretty batshit crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun just to see the tactics of how we were both employing it. It was really a lot of fun. So let's move on to game 3, because that was when we first introduced the vehicle aspect of it, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it got a lot crazier than at that point. And if you guys aren't aware, GamePod has a variety of vehicles. It has one small buggy, one large buggy with a minigun on top. It looks like a minigun. It actually is a P90 with dual sector gears inside, but the barrels do spin. And it also, that minigun has either a regular television sight that you can view from the passenger compartment holding a joystick, and you can also flip that over to thermal sight. That is pretty awesome. So if they basically turn on the lights, you can just shoot heat signatures.
That thing, okay, I don't want to like discredit it. That thing is awesome. Okay, like there was a point where way before we had even, like on Friday, we had gone out to play a couple of games, just kind of hang out with all the 4 of us and play some of the vehicles there and do a little free-for-all stuff, which you guys will see on the YouTube channel coming up soon. But we decided to do one game type that I was a little, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be fun or not. But it was basically a bunch of guys in the buggy hunting people down, and their only objective was to get from point A to point B.
And we all had shotguns.
Unfortunately, I'm not as in good shape as I would like to be, and I could not. I was booking it trying to get through this field, and I just got left behind by the other 3 guys. And it was literally, I think, probably a good solid 15 minutes of them trying to hunt me down while I'm inside of buildings, all sneaking back and forth.
It was funny because you come out of the building and we go, and then you come out the other side, we're like,
So it was just a lot of fun to see how the vehicle works in an urban environment.
Nice, Tyler Nutter. I appreciate that.
Regrets. So yeah, the vehicles are definitely a lot of fun. I remember there was one particular point where I did get killed by the vehicle. I think I was such an idiot. I stepped into the line of it, but I saw the red laser on the wall, and I was like, oh, okay, there's a laser. Somebody's clearly aiming their gun this way, and it was just like really stable. And I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. Maybe they're setting on that door frame. And I was just waiting. And like the light turned off. I was like, cool, I'm gonna peek. And then right as I did that, the flashlight turned back on and the laser, and it was just like, oh no, it's the buggy! It's the buggy! And it just got lit up a couple of times, and I was just like, oh shit. But it was definitely really cool to see how the vehicles incorporated into the game, especially when you start introducing rockets and C4.
Yes, so that was the good part, is that the team that had the vehicles is basically a buggy, a smaller buggy, as well as a cutlass that could ferry troops around at a very slow pace.
Yeah. Now, honestly, though, it was better, though, because you could use it for cover to move around a bunch of guys behind it.
I was hoping to use it to surgically insert teams, which only really worked twice on my side. We got all the way up to the airport, parked cutlass in front of it. People got out, and then they got the intel crates and got the heck out of Dodge. Now, what was great is that one side had all the vehicles. The other side had one rocket launcher with 2 rockets, and after they use those rockets, the refs would get them back, and they get resupplied with rockets. There were also 2 pieces of C4 that were magnetic, and once you put it on the vehicle, you hit the little detonator patch, and it turns the red light on there by detonating it. Now, disposable heroes are very effective using those pieces of C4.
There was a part, okay, so like they had literally blown up the vehicle so much.
6 times.
There was a part where I had sat back at respawn and was like, I could push out or I could talk to the refs and get more C4 back for them. So I was like, go this way, guys. And I was like, all right, refs, can I get that C4 back? I need to build more vehicles. And they were like, you want the C4? And I was like, yeah. Go. Can you get it for me? So they like run away, come back with the C4. Like, you blew it up already, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to need those again. And then like I was like, Team DH, where are they at? And like one guy comes like, hey, I got C4. He's like, oh, let's go hunting. And it was just like this moment of like, I hear the buggy. Oh, it's coming from this way. We run to a building, like look around, like, is it over here? And then they would drive by, and I would just be like, go get him. And you just go down, clink, put it on, and you just like, you're solid. So,
oh man,
it was just a lot of fun playing with the C4 and the buggies. The props add such a fun element to the game
yes,
that
they
I
do.
didn't think that they were. I thought it was like, oh, it'd be cool, kind of like a novelty thing, but man. It really is fun. Like, oh, your wire pulls out, real world, bro. Figure it out.
That was probably for me. That was the quintessential moment of that game, because not only is the facility amazing, but the staff was like, "Hey, man, just make it work." It's like that's what kind of people they were. Is that if something goes wrong, even at the event, we were running over schedule because the lunch was taking far too long to get served. They're like, "Look, we'll stay here as long as it takes to make it a good event." And those are the kind of people you want to work with.
Not a single guy was like, "Oh, I actually have to do something after this." Everyone was like, "Oh no, you guys want to stay? Yeah, we'll stay. No worries. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Man, this is awesome." It was really cool to work with the staff. And then we all went out to Applebee's and had drinks and hung out. And I was just like, "Man, like every one of those guys that was working there, I'd give a firm handshake. Thanks for all your efforts. Like seriously, like I can't say it enough. Like the staff helped make that game so much. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a lot of fun. So. Are you reading comments?
I'm reading Jack LaRoe's comments.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to see you here, Jack. Yeah, no, that was a pretty crazy game, and I think with the addition of vehicles, it made the battlefield that much more hectic. I mean, we were talking to Spartan Leah after the fact, and she's like, "Yeah, I just didn't really know what was going on." And honestly, like a lot of times, like I was still trying to figure out as well. I would have to run around, just kind of assess the situation, move people around where I thought they could be. Also, there's a lot of times I was just getting people into buildings. I was like, "Look, you have no cover here. Like, get inside."
Exactly.
So.
I was showing Ross this morning when we were looking at some of the footage. There was a small part where I was like, all right, guys, we're going to move up. All I want you guys to do is go right along this wall. You're going to be in fire, but I'm going to cover you, and then just cut left and get into a building. And there's just one smaller player. I think he just kind of was like, oh, no, got panicked for a second. But he ran down the wall with everybody right behind them, turned the corner. I was like, perfect, everybody's there. And I turned my flashlight on to keep shooting, and I guess they were taking fire from that way. He just stepped back into the lane of fire, and I was like, oh, no, like, get out, oh, no. Like, I was like, run, do something. You can't stand there. You're going to get shot. And he just eventually ran off. But
oh, man.
You know, it was hilarious. I got to give it to those players. Those younger guys that came out, like, honestly, I was like, okay, look, guys. Seriously, use your height to your advantage. If you crouch down, you are basically a grown man who is prone.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. There was a point, I kid you not, there was a point where this guy was like, he was like, hey, I'm going to go in this building. I was like, dude, I'll help you through the window. Whoop, okay, here you go. And, like, he was inside. He's like, all right, cool, I'm going to go through. And he was being all tactical. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, these younger generations are seeing the tactics, and they had just got done watching the training situation, and we're like, okay, I can pie corners now, and I watched a smaller player start pieing corners because he knew how it worked, and I was like, that just right there. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we were hoping. Yeah, Airsoft VAD. I remember your Japanese flag. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, I think that's what we were hoping to have happen is, for those younger players or those inexperienced players to see the training and also use it in an Airsoft battlefield type scenario. So it was really cool to see that happen. So yeah, that was essentially the entire goal of the operation.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, it was just what I like too is like the fact that that battlefield can be so crazy times with the vehicles there. That's already loud enough with the BBs getting shot. There are a lot of Thunderbees that went off too.
I was just about to say that, dude. The Thunderbees, like I know you guys are like, oh, it's loud in indoor facilities when Thunderbees go off. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, GamePod has developed like a speaker above you that just resonates all the sound back to the ground. Like, if somebody is yelling at you from across the field, it is impossible to understand what they're saying. So when a Thunderbee goes off, like there was a couple times where the refs were helping us out. They were like, hey, you guys are having too hard of a time over here. I'll throw a grenade and we'll just kind of push out. And I was like, all right, cool, yeah, that'll work. So we throw a grenade, and even the ref, after he threw it, was like waiting for it, and it blew up, and he kind of jumped himself too because it was just so loud. I was like, man, it is seriously in that AO. It is just so loud when a Thunderbee goes off.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Yeah,
that
a lot of crazy fun. The flashlights, holy cow, effective at that field.
Yes,
unreal effective. I was using it for quite a bit of time to just point out a window, like tell my team, hey guys, follow me. There's guys in this window. Like, which one? Which one? Bing, 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 right there in that window. And all of a sudden the guy's like, whoop, guns are up. And I'm like, perfect. Like, even for a spotting tool, a laser probably would be more beneficial, to be honest with you. It's a little easier to just point out a red dot. But flashing a wall, like, hey, we're going to hit this wall, then we're going to move this way, is a really easy way to, show those younger players, like, hey, this is what we got to do, So,
no, I would totally agree. And I actually, since Greg is still here, I also want to mention Greg put out a video of the event. I think like the day after it happened. So cheers to you, Greg. Yeah, I know, but it looked pretty cool, and I was really happy. There was one point where I think it was the last game when we had probably I think it was there was probably like a minute or two left where like I was running across and I just all of a sudden I was like, I want to run down the middle of the field and scream. And Greg was running around. I was like, Greg, you want to go down the middle of the field too? We're just gonna run and scream. He's like, all right. And we just went running and screaming. I was trying to like shoot while I was running and turn on the flashlight and made it into Greg's vid, and I really want to look at the footage of my own, but it just felt awesome. And then right at the end I was like, oh man, I'm getting close to puking. This is right where I wanted to be. I really exerted myself. Yeah, but I'm not gonna puke. Not gonna puke.
You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't. Yeah, I know. I was impressed. Yeah. I thought for sure hot indoor. Actually, it didn't get hot at all. It was perfect inside of there.
Well, remember, I don't know if you saw me after like the first or second game, but I pulled off my gear and there was steam rising from my chest, shoulders, and head.
No, I sat down like right towards the end of the day. I sat down. I saw you take your hat off, and there was just steam coming off your hair, and I was just like, epic.
Yeah, I wish I'd have video of that, but. Well, the time is fast approaching for Tim's appearance.
I have to make one announcement, really quick. I was sent a item from a friend, and I really appreciate it. And what's happening right now is I am blanking on his name, and I feel really bad about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to say anything for right now, but he knows who he is. And next live show, I got you. Because I actually want to put this together in a loadout that I'm taking to Operation Reclamation.
Well, if you want to, you can go out, prepare the Temperer for his arrival, and go check on that.
The Temperer has arrived.
Yeah, I know, but for his entrance. But if you want to go check on
Yeah, I know. I could do that really quickly.
I can keep
honestly, I kind of want to. I'm going to do it later. I'll do it later because he knows I want to put it in a loadout. So I'm not going to show it right now. But Tim wants to come in and talk to you guys. So I'm going to.
It might not even be Tim.
Oh no,
Tim doesn't knock. Tim
who else
pounds.
would be this annoying? Locked the door on me.
Yeah, that's right.
I knew I was coming, and you locked the door on me.
I've warmed your seat up at least.
Oh, okay, cool.
Already.
You bugging out?
Well, yeah, if you need the 3 seats, then not a problem. Is he here yet?
We got room.
No.
Tim, how's this feel? It's been a little while, yeah.
It's weird seeing myself on camera again.
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Well,
I'm still here.
Well, yeah, but that's not, I mean...
The delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here, but I'm not.
No. Well, Tim...
Just fucking sit down.
Okay, all right.
While we're waiting for
this is true.
All right, Tim. Well, first of all, I know our audience is wanting you to answer this burning question. How are you?
I am swell.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this live show. Thanks for watching.
Cool, guys. You're back. Hope you guys had happy times with Tim being here.
All right. Well, I'm sure we do have a lot of questions, but I'm sure one that is actually burning in mind is like, what's going on with Krytac? I saw that when I was overseas, and I was like, oh my God, it's Tim and guns. Tell me more.
Okay, Krytac is, as I'm sure most of you are aware because you weren't overseas like Bob was, is our new brand of training products. And obviously it's going to encompass Airsoft, there's going to be other non-lethal stuff coming out later on, and eventually we're going to be making 22s under that brand name. So Krytac is, for all intents and purposes, a firearms brand.
So you're going to make 22s under the name Krytac, eh?
That sounds pretty fun.
That sounds awesome.
I live in this place, it's horrible, called California. Can I get those guns here?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That is good. And I also saw you had some receivers that were, I guess, pre-camo painted. What's the deal with that?
That's just to test our capabilities. So the way that Krytac is going down is that we're utilizing Chris's manufacturing capabilities to bring a product to the market that is on a different level.
A whole nother level.
Oh man, well that'll be fun. I mean, I was.
Alan's going to be here. He'll be able to probably give you guys a little bit more in depth because he's the one turning the gears on that.
Be here as in
live show.
Yeah.
You mean this live show?
Yeah, probably in one of these.
Well, why didn't we advertise that?
Well, it's
We
kind of
put
last minute.
Tim and Alizard. Whatever. Yeah, nothing important. I'm not like freaking out. I'm freaking out, but yeah, no, I'm really excited because I really want to get my hands on something from the Krytac lineup and try it out. I hope so. And thanks for bringing us these nice hats.
No problem.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
If you went to SHOT Show, you would have got one. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't go to the cool.
Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that, guys?
Oh man, we should tell them about the fire. How fun it was on Thursday.
Oh, firing full auto,
dude. So I put like
I've fired a Chris full auto.
You know the Chris Vector shoots at like 1,200 rounds a minute. That's fast.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000.
I got to put like 6 mags through the Sphinx STP. It was pretty awesome.
I think that's the thing that I wish I could have done is I do actually desperately want to own a Sphinx, and to actually fire it would be really fun because I remember I believe it was last SHOT Show that you got to go out in the frigid 22-degree temperature and fire the Sphinx, and you're like, man, it felt so good, but I'm not sure if I felt it.
My hands were freezing.
It was but
bad.
you're like it's just very little recoil and then back on target. So.
Yeah, the Sphinx, between the Vector and the Sphinx is definitely my favorite product between the two.
Now, the Sphinx is almost not entirely handmade, but it is a handmade pistol, isn't it?
Okay. Yes. There he is. There's that guy.
Hey!
Uh-oh.
Okay. A little bit. I'll see you guys.
All right, Josh is departing for temporary seat-changing maneuvers.
All right.
And we have got... Oh, boy. Can I call you Alizar?
Just call me Alizar.
Yeah, good to see you again.
How do you like?
Yeah, really good now. This is awesome. I mean, Tim's here, so
okay,
whatever. But yeah, that happens.
But your Krytac questions will most likely be better answered by this guy right here.
Wait, what did I miss?
I just sat down. We were talking about the Sphinx pistols and how much I like them. Bob likes them too. But, yeah, this year at Media Day was not nearly as cold as last year.
That's good.
Just in general, the cold was not there, so that really helped out.
Frank is awkwardly peering in from the side door. Yeah, that's him right there in the corner. Not creepy at all, is it? All right. Okay, so now that we've got Alan here, just curious. Krytac.
Go.
Okay, well, I need a question.
So. No, that's fine. I just thought it'd be fun to put you in an awkward position. I know a lot of people are really excited for to see a product from Krytac. I mean, I was when I saw the photos online. What exactly are you guys bringing new, or what are you guys bringing out to the airsoft industry that should get people enthused?
I think the most importantly is we've been doing airsoft for many years. I mean, we play airsoft and we want to have a product that actually fit the American market, and we're finally able to get a chance to look at all the features and look at all the things that we want. We're able to put it together and put a package that really fits what we really want.
Now, I heard some mention of like backwards compatibility, or the fact that a lot of stuff won't be necessarily proprietary. I might not be phrasing this correctly, but I just want to lead you into a discussion on that.
Well, first of all, what we did is we looked at the Marui gearbox, and we actually have the exact print of the Marui gearbox.
Really?
We look at the dimension of it and say, okay, this is what they gave us 20 years ago, and let's see that what we can do to make it first. Number one is compatible. I know a lot of people would like to take things out, change out different gears, change out different piston. These are important for them because we live in a society that like to do everything by ourselves.
Yep.
This is ours, this is mine, I made it myself. That is the mentality that we have. So I like to take that and say, okay, well, I got something like this, and how can I improve this without changing too much? And then make it still backward compatible with the Marui specs.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, you brought in, obviously, something, hopefully you can show our viewers, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, can you hold it up in front of the camera real quick? So now, what do you got there?
Well, this is a prototype gearbox. First things, I didn't have to take it out yet, but basically, this is the gearbox shell. Okay, now this is a standard Marui size gearbox shell. As a matter of fact, you take this thing out, you can put in any standard Marui receiver.
Really?
It will fit.
Wow.
Okay. However, these things have a design for taking stress points. So it has a couple of stress point relief point in the front that takes out the stress. It will work in a cold temperature, and we use a much better material than before.
That's really good. So you guys are definitely engineering this to, I guess, just withstand a variety of different climates then, it sounds like. Yeah. Well, that's really good because, I mean, obviously the climates all over the United States vary quite significantly compared to California. So, well, that's really awesome. Now, I'm actually curious about where you guys got the Krytac logo itself. How was that designed?
Designed it in-house.
It's all designed in-house.
Yeah,
It's something that we would like to do, and we look into the myth of Krakens and Cthulhu's and stuff like that. So I kind of like that. So we kind of stick with that. That idea.
Badass. Now, when can we expect to see Krytac products out on the market?
The official launch is actually coming very soon. It's over at the IWA show. So we have a full product launch at the IWA in Germany. And then the production will begin, and the delivery date will be sometime. Well, we're shooting for the end of April, but I'm saying most likely it's going to be sometime in May.
Okay. Well, that's actually a lot sooner than I'm sure a lot of folks expected. Now, I do have a question for you, Tim, but before I get to that, I just want to let everyone know that it can be kind of awkward when you have a large tech standing right next to you. Case in point. Hey, Frank. Okay. Okay. All right. So now there's a photo going around the interwebs, as I like to call them, that in the preparation for the launch of Krytac, Tim was building his own Krytac gun. I just saw a photo online where you were doing some of the mechanical work personally. Is there some backstory to that?
Well, I mean, we've been reading the interwebs, as you like to call it, and I guess a lot of people have been thinking like, oh my God, Tim is building guns with his bare hands, and so we just kind of played off of that. I was at our office just kind of tinkering around with some of the stuff, and then Spiggy, whom you know, took the opportunity to be like, photo evidence that Tim is actually building guns with his bare hands. And so I happened to be just putting one of the receivers together just to see what the fit and finish was like, and then we're just kind of playing off of that myth. But I think I put in the caption there that the crew is working around the clock on Krytac, and it's not just Alan or me. And so we've got a lot of resources going into it. So it's not just me, as cool as that would be. Yeah. But that would make my plate pretty full.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of folks also didn't know that you knew how to tech, at least a tiny bit.
What?
Well, you can kind of.
I've done videos with Frank.
You've done videos.
I've actually seen Tim on occasion work on this gun. On occasion.
On occasion.
Airsoft techs were not readily available back in the early 2000s, so I had to learn a couple of things on my own. And then I met Gene, and I was like, Gene, fix this for me. Yeah. And so it has been a while, but I know my way around, specifically in version 2 and version 3. I had a TM Spetsnaz beta that I've taken apart and reassembled numerous times. That little screw for the hop-up arm is a pain in the ass if you don't have a magnetic little screwdriver. Am I right?
Yes. Okay. Frank disagrees. I would like to say hi to Milsim Junkie, who is here.
Arwin,
that's right. Yeah. Arwin. Really appreciate you coming out to my op this weekend. It was really fun. It was also really funny. We were looking for some of the C4 during the mission, and I ran to Arwin. I was like, hey, Arwin, what's up? Do you have a C4? Oh, thank God. So I appreciate you being out there, and also appreciate you carrying the C4. Do you mind if I touch this?
Go ahead.
Excellent.
Oh, it just broke.
Yep, it's going to break.
Bad luck, Bob.
Yeah, okay. This is pretty cool. I mean, it's not very heavy, but obviously it's
backwards.
This is how it I mean, this is the stock, right? That's no. Am I wrong, Audie? Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop joking. Well, this is really cool. I can't wait for this to come out. I mean, I'm actually a little shocked that from unveiling to coming out to the market, the time is actually not that long.
Fast.
Yeah, it's very fast. So that is really cool, and I got to give you guys props for that. Now, are there any? I assume obviously you're going with an AR-15 or M4 style gun with your mainstay flagship, but are there any other guns that you're looking at getting into in the long run?
Yes, if you were at SHOT Show, you will have seen the SR-47.
Is this going to go on until next year?
Yes, until you go to SHOT Show next. We're going to talk about the epicness that happened at SHOT Show that you were not a part of.
I heard some funny stories.
They're definitely
We'll work on something.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. I know you guys are definitely always on the up and up as far as exploring the bounds and pushing the limits as far as airsoft goes. So I have great confidence in both of you. Mostly you, Alan.
Oh, thank you.
It's great to see you guys again. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so I'm really.
You lost TVB5.
Why'd you have to go there? Why did you have to go there? I was actually going over some of the old footage of at the end of TVB 4.5 when you were standing in the middle of the road and some of my rebels were like, "There's Tim. It's just by himself." I was like, "Well, go get him. Just run down the road and get him." And then I think you just kind of turned tail and ran. But yeah, TVB 5 was a crushing defeat for my forces, which we will make good on. So. But yeah, hopefully we'll see where the TV series goes from here. But honestly, I'm really excited about this Krytac lineup. Are you guys? How many different models of the M4 style of airsoft gun are you coming out with?
Initial launch is going to be 4 Trident series. Okay, there's going to be a SDP and a PDW, which these 2 models have not been shown during a SHOT Show. Then we have a CRB, and then we have the SPR. The SPR being the 16-inch barrel scout version.
So that makes sense. The letter designations will designate the size of the gun.
That makes sense.
One of the model will probably in European only.
Alan, why do you have to say those things?
But let me finish.
Okay.
However, that will make the kit available for you to purchase the kit. The way we're doing our product is we're going to have a lot of these parts available for you to piece together.
Oh, that's good. Like sort of like a challenge kit?
No, not quite. We're actually going to sell a lot of upgrade kits. As a matter of fact, the gearbox shell is going to be a different. We will have a different types of material they can choose from if you want to have a different kind of gearbox shell.
Wow, that's pretty cool because I mean you can basically build your gun from the ground up. It sounds like
if you want.
That is awesome. You hear that, America?
We'll have a lot of different receiver options available in different configurations.
That's cool.
Materials. Some of the parts that are going to be on the Krytac guns, they are actually firearm components that will be under the Defiance brand.
Correct.
So they're made for real guns.
Wow, that is a really cool I guess cross promotion of industry. I mean, Defiance originally, in case you guys are not aware, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, they originally a suppressor manufacturer, aren't they?
All right.
So no, they're actually a weapon accessory manufacturer.
Okay.
It's a brand under the Chris Group.
Yes.
So this is how it works. Okay, Chris USA, which is the company that we work for, is responsible for 4 brands. Chris, that makes the Vector, Sphinx, that you have on your head. Defiance is the accessories, and Krytac is our new professional training line. Okay.
And recreationals.
Yeah.
And what?
And recreational use.
Yes.
But it's all underneath the same umbrella. So when we talk about Defiance, it's just another brand that we control.
One thing I'd like to talk about is because I think this is the first time for the firearm industry really recognize airsoft is a actual shooting sports because they see every customer using airsoft gun is a potential customer for buying real firearms.
That's right.
So I'm very happy that the company is really embraced this idea and allow us to do what we wanted to do and bring the product out for the American players.
And I think you're absolutely correct on that. I mean, when I first saw the Krytac release, again overseas, and it wasn't a SHOT Show, it did feel like a monumental, almost a seismic change of a real firearm company deciding to get into airsoft, or at least for training purposes, and that is huge. I mean, I remember when Knights Armament decided to release or work with Ares on their first ever airsoft gun. That felt big to me, and this dwarfs that. So I could not be happier, and I hope you out there could not be happier about the fact that the Chris Group is getting into the airsoft industry, so to speak.
We're taking it a step further. Like you mentioned, like there's been licensing, there's been deals done in the past, but we're really creating something from the ground up.
Well, most important, everything is in-house.
Yes.
Because we no longer going to do any OEM. We're actually building our own factory. We're building everything by ourselves.
Really?
Everything designed to putting everything together is all within the Chris Group.
Awesome. Guys, I'm really excited. And the fact of the matter is that you guys, I mean, I don't know how long you have been working on this, but I mean, as far as the public knows, I mean, again, from announcement to release in EWA to release on the open market, that is a really, really fast turnaround considering how airsoft guns are normally manufactured.
Well, I've been pretty quiet, so.
I would assume. Sorry, guys, listening on earphones. I know I laugh a little loud. Yeah, I would assume you were pretty good at keeping secrets, so that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, are there other things you'd like to tell us about Krytac or where you want to go in the future? Anything more about the Chris Group?
Well, feature-wise, I at least I'll give you a little bit. Most of the products that we have now, I'm looking at the general public, like what kind of features that is available already. I'm looking at the list and I think, okay, well, I see these products have these features, but but they're not all together into one package.
Correct.
So what I did is I tried to combine them. And then, now, nothing really super innovation, but we're able to put together a list of features that we think that the player actually wants to have.
Such as?
Well, number one is the compatibility issue. Okay, so this is a reinforced gearbox that with a compatibility with the Marui specs part. So as a matter of fact, if you don't like any of the features I will be talking about, take it out.
Replace it with whatever you want.
Put in your favorite parts in there.
That's awesome.
About the only thing you can take out is the bearing. Now, it is still using a bearing system, but it's an 8mm bearing. Now, these bearings are very well made. They're supplied by a Japanese brand. So these bearings are solid and very, very nice bearings.
Wow.
Okay. So we're using quality parts as well.
That's really good.
So that's number one. Number two is we have a spring change features that, well, again, it's nothing innovative, but still a feature that allows you to, without opening the gearbox, and you can just use Allen wrench, twist it, turn it, and then you can able to replace the spring. Now, another feature that I looked at is like, it's actually kind of useful. Like, say that when you're firing a gun, this actually has a battery in here. I'm going to flip to full auto. Okay. See, it's firing, and then most often that, let's say when you are done playing it, you might just put on save and put it away. However, this one have a
I hear that, a spring decompressor.
Now, the first time when I pull it, it didn't happen because it's already reset. But very often when you go full auto, you can see right here, I especially drill a hole here to see there is a piston and it actually not reset. So when as soon as I flip the save,
okay.
It reset the pistons.
Would you mind if I showed our viewers that real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, here. So another headphone warning. Okay. So let me see if I can get this up here. As you can see, there's a little hole right. Oh, there we go. I'm going to switch it to safe. Okay, so there you see it resetting. That is a really cool feature to have, especially for the longevity of that spring.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's something that's been on other guns, but like we said,
getting it all together.
Exactly.
Right. Now, another feature that we added is MB.
I wasn't paying attention to that before.
So does actually have an MB switch, so working MB switch. So I think it's a useful feature. So I added MB features on here. Another feature. Oh, here we go. A bolt lock. Now, very often that we like to, we have a pull charging handle, and then we have to adjust the hop-up unit. Very often that, well, you got to do two-hand to do little magic. Obviously, some companies have made a feature that allows you to lock the bolt. Like I have the same thing here. I lock the bolt, and you can hit the button to release.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Now, one thing about this, though, this is kind of interesting. We're not the only one that did this. But very often, the other company, the way they did it is they add extra parts. Outside the gearbox, so when you disassemble the gearbox, you have to take all the stuff out.
It's a pain in the butt.
It's a little bit of work. Now, what we did is we actually put something very easy to do. We don't even have that lever on the outside anymore. Everything's on the inside. If you
so from a tech standpoint, I mean, it's not going to make a difference to the end user unless they decide to take apart the gun.
Yeah. So for those folks that are normally going to like tech on the guns, replace things, like that'll be a really big reason to buy it because it's going to be one less or two less or three less steps you're going to have to do when you take apart your gearbox.
Simplicity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's just another feature that is useful, and it's make it easier for a tech to work on a gun.
Wow.
Okay. Now, as for the gearbox, this is what we have so far. As for performance-wise, we actually changed the hop-up system a little bit. Now, again, if you don't like the hop-up system, by all means, switch it out, use your own hop-up, put your own hop-up. But for the longest time that I play Airsoft, I'm sure some of you may agree that some of the most consistent hop-up unit is a rotary style hop-up. And then obviously we're going to put that rotary hop-up in this gun as well.
That's very good. That's a good feature to have.
Yeah. The rotor hop-up actually have numbers on it on the dial, and when you click on it, when you turn it, actually clicks. So it is you have the tactile feel that you actually know you are moving the hop-up. Or very often that when you're using a standard hop-up, when you fire with vibration, it actually backtracks. But with this hop-up, it actually stays in place.
That is a nice feature to have. There's so many times where I've at least had to try and change the hop-up where I can't, there's no click, there's no basically tactile notion of how far I'm moving it. So that is a nice feature to have, along with all the other features on this gun. So, it sounds like, and are there more features to go over?
I'll keep that for now.
Oh, secretive. Now, it sounds like, you guys are making your AEG or your M4 style AEG just like the one-stop shop for everything you want to have in there right out of the box. So that's really cool, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to put everything in the package that is not a gimmicks, but actually something useful. So.
No, absolutely. I think that's a great thing to do, and I hope our players really appreciate it. I do kind of want to know, do you have an idea of a price point that you're willing to release to the public yet?
Price point is should be very, very competitive with the current products in the market. We're shooting between 300 to 400-ish, depending on the models.
Okay, that sounds about right. Now, are you going to have full metal exterior, polymer exterior?
It's going to be all full metal outside.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that is really cool. Dang, I wish it's a weird thing. Whenever I have someone from an airsoft gun manufacturer, I want to have what product they want to talk about. I'm oh, what's your next product? What's the next thing coming out? It's not fair because I just after seeing this lineup, I want you to make a lot of stuff. So that is really cool. I can't wait for this to come out. Now I'm hoping that maybe we can get a sample for us to review.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. That'd be nice. Well, if you guys don't know, actually, just a little bit of backstory. Alan has been playing Airsoft for a long time. How many years can you say you've been playing Airsoft?
I've been actively, I've not played recently, but as for playing on and off, I'll probably start playing around 2004, 2005.
Okay, so obviously at least, almost a decade. I remember the first time I actually met you, or one of the first times I met you, was at Line Claws 9 when you were running around with a bright red hat.
Playing is one thing, collecting is another thing.
Yes. Yeah, you are quite a prolific collector, if I don't make my mistake.
I collect quite a bit, but not as much as some other friends I have.
Yeah, well, I'm not just thinking just airsoft guns. Yeah. Well, it's great to have you here on the show. We definitely have about 9 more minutes, so I'm going to see if there are any questions. Tim needs to talk more. That's a statement. Thank you, Joshua Garza.
Actually, William Trout connected with me on Reddit, and he's been asking about the
I saw him up there.
Yeah, the Chris Vector.
William Truart?
Trout?
Sure. Oh, Trout Art. Okay.
Trout Art.
Yo, wait, what did he say?
Well, a lot of people have been actually asking, so we can address this now. We don't have any plans to develop a Vector. Okay, and what I told William on Reddit is that the Vector is actually kind of old news. The gun's been out for X amount of years, and there are new designs coming in from Chris that will also be translated to the future of Krytac as well. So,
well,
I know a lot of people have been asking. It's not something that we're looking into, and it's really, like I told William, it's going to be old news. And just to give you an idea for how far in the future we're projected, we're talking about the release of Krytac right now for 2014, but Alan and myself and the other guys at the Chris group, we're already planning product releases for 2015 and 16. So.
Yeah, we'll be busy for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
This is not going to be it by any means. There's going to be a very diverse product range you guys will be able to see from Krytac.
Well, I gotta say, and you probably can't openly comment on this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. When I first saw the Chris Vector, my immediate thought was, "Holy crap, this is awesome!" But my second thought after that was, Why don't they chamber this for a rifle round? Because if it mitigates recoil so well, this feels like the future of where service rifles are going to go. Has that been looked into at all?
I shouldn't say anything.
Am I an idiot? You can call me an idiot. Just
No, it's just that a lot of things we have done, we have already done.
Mm-hmm.
And for a company like Chris Group, I mean, these guys are way ahead of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
What they have designed, what they have made in the labs and whatever they have in Switzerland, I've seen it, and
basically you're thinking too small.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
all
idea,
right.
the recoil mitigation technology in the Chris is going to go far beyond just the rifle caliber stuff.
Okay, so you're talking about tank caliber, naval gunship
I'm not
caliber.
talking about
we can't
anything
talk
about
a lot of these things. Unfortunately, it's just this
You
is
have to wait and see.
Okay,
this
well,
is a
here.
a
Look,
thing-
I'll cover the camera. Audio's still on. Go ahead and talk.
We'll talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's talk about it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, dang, I really want to find out.
I want to bring up one point. It's just the Chris Group company they work with a lot of high security clearance stuff, and a lot of military projects they've been working on that we cannot even talk about it. We can't even talk about who we sold our products to.
Well, geez, Alan, that doesn't sound fun at all. Wait, no, it does sound fun. Man, you guys have great jobs. That is so cool. Okay, well.
Yeah.
It's G14 classified.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. Well, I'm glad you guys are out here. I definitely want to see if we can get some more questions out there, especially.
The feed stopped. If you want to refresh it.
Did the feed stop?
Feed stop.
Feed drop? I hit F4. I don't think that actually does anything.
F5 is the one you want.
I knew
Oh,
that.
there it goes. Oh,
It's
you ruined it.
Well, why did you say that then?
Oh,
There we go.
Okay. Will Krytac be making AK platforms by Samuel Twigg?
yes.
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 Yes. All right.
Yes.
Is that all you want to say on AK platforms?
For now.
For now.
Correct.
For now?
For now.
For now. Okay. Will the gearboxes be sold as a standalone? It sounded like you made that declaration earlier.
It will be available.
It will be available. As well as it sounds like a bevy of other parts you can switch and switch out.
Yes.
The type of stuff that we're offering, because we have manufacturing in Switzerland, you guys are going to see stuff to a different quality and degree that hasn't been seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
I assume you mean higher quality.
Oh,
Yes. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
If you can pay for it.
If you can pay for it. It won't be together. I mean, to be honest with you, if we assembled an entire airsoft gun in Switzerland, it'd be way too much money. But for the people that want the premium, Swiss precision machine stuff, it will be available.
So I mean, when you're talking about something that expensive, are you talking about like back in the day, like Sistema PDW was this much? Like that's how much a full?
It's going to be even higher.
Oh my god!
It'll be available as an option. Not everything from Krytac is going to cost that much, but just to give you an idea. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I totally get it. I remember seeing the Sistema PTW and being like, man, I want that, and I can't even come close to a fraction of affording that.
Well, that's why if we offer it through Krytac, piece by piece, you can a little bit here, a
Yeah.
little bit there, you'll be able to assemble a really sick gun.
That probably would be kind of cool though, because obviously I'm not the most tech-friendly guy, as you might imagine. But it would be kind of a cool feeling to like, I can't afford the whole gun, but I can afford these really, really badass, well-manufactured, well-machined parts, and I could sequentially upgrade my gun to a status where I want it. So that would make me feel more ownership over the gun, and also it, obviously increase performance. So I think it's a really good way to go about that no one else is really doing. So I got to congratulate you guys on that. That is pretty badass.
Thank you. It's going crazy right now.
Yeah, I know it does that sometimes, and sometimes people just spam it. But make a GBBR. Will Krytac make any GBB pistols? Why don't you go answer those two real quick? If you don't mind.
GBB pistol at the moment is a no.
Okay.
At the moment.
Is that a hard no or a soft no?
It is a no at the moment.
Okay, so it's a soft no. Okay. All right. Tim, what is your favorite gun off the back wall?
Man, you guys still have the Battlefield 4.
I would have guessed that one because the darn vertical grip you like so
the
much.
Surefire M900. Okay. I have a Surefire M900.
Okay.
I don't like it as much. I don't use it as much as people think because that thing weighs like 2.5 pounds.
It does, but
it adds a lot of weight to your gun.
In every CQB engagement, well, most of the CQB engagements I've been with you in,
I have it.
You usually run
because
it.
it's bright as the sun.
And it looks pretty cool.
It does look okay, but it's really heavy, and so I'm mostly about functionality. And especially in an outdoor game, it doesn't make sense to have a flashlight that big on your gun that's that heavy. But
Unless
the
you're
Battlefield 4
compensating for
gun
something.
definitely looks cool. But I have 2 scars. Actually, Mark took one of my scars.
Not
I
surprising.
gave it to him so that he could fix it, and he ended up just tricking it out like Mark does, and now he wants to keep it. So I guess I only have 1 scar.
Is he not going to pay you for it?
I don't know. I think we're gonna do some trade of car parts or something like that.
Jesus.
We'll work out some sort of agreement.
It's funny, actually, out front, he's like, hey, Bob, did Tim get here? Where's Tim? I was like, oh, he's out front. He's like, he just went out front. So he's really excited you were here. Both BMW, riders. Not surprised.
Riders.
I couldn't, drivers. Jeez. All right, well, we only have a little bit of time left, so we'll see if there are any more questions. We already went, how much will the Krytac M4s cost? I think we already went over that. Possibly between $300 to $400. That is not Krytac related. Well, regardless, I'm just curious, do you guys have, do you have any idea when you might be going out to either fields or at least promoting this in the United States? I know it's coming out to market around May, but when will you guys be bringing around stuff for us to at least take a look at?
When we have performing prototypes that perform adequately, we'll be in touch.
Okay. That sounds very professional and
So, I guess he's just well, since we're local here,
yeah,
I'll give you guys a hint. So sometimes that you may find somebody playing with an unknown looking marking gun.
Okay. Is it going to sound like this? No?
Mm.
No, okay. I was thinking.
No. He's over Virginia right now.
He's what?
He's over Virginia right now.
I thought my
That was
interpretation was pretty
good.
good. Yeah, okay.
You still have to explain a little bit.
Yeah. I'll work on it. It's just the tongue that's sewn up. It's just.
Speaking of that, a lot of people that were watching the video at SHOT Show was like, "Oh, Tim sounds different from the video that we did at GI." When you're at SHOT Show and it's
you lost your voice.
Yeah, you're talking day in and day out, so I don't sound different. It's just for that.
You do have a bit of a suntan. You're a little red. Yeah. I mean,
Maybe it's the lighting.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, because I'm still really white and you're kind of red.
No, we're not. So. You and I had the same shade of awesome.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like that is shade of awesome. I like that. All right, well, that is going to do it for the live show on February 11, 2014. I would like to thank our guests. We've got Alan right here. We've got Tim Sargent. Pleasure to have these two gentlemen on the show, and thank you guys for stopping by. It's quite a pleasure to be here with all of you. Bob the X-Men. Hillary, bye-bye.
Thank you.
I don't know how to turn this off.
What do you mean not turn it off? You've been doing the live show?
I never turned it off.
Here's the stop
That makes
streaming
sense. And then you hit that thing.